My name is Brian Moran, and I'm CTO and co-founder of OneHub. If you've not heard of us, OneHub provides secure file sharing for businesses. We've been in business since early 2008, and I thought I would share with you some observations and some trials and tribulations that we've had along the way, and maybe you could ask some questions and do some tree pruning for you as you go down the startup path. So, unlike some startups that start in garages, we actually started OneHub in this shed. It's a 10 by 12 shed that's out in the woods. It's nice and quiet. Charles Mount, who's the other co-founder of OneHub, he and I had the idea that after doing two previous startups, one in mobile performance management, which we sold to Keynote Systems, and another that was enterprisey that we sold to EMC, we wanted to do something different. So what we found is, in working on those startups, was that we had trouble working with other people and collaborating with them on file-related information over the internet. So OneHub was started to address the frustration that we had when we found that email attachments could only be, say, 10 megs in size. Remember, this is 2008. Things were a little bit primitive. So we certainly were looking around, and we noticed that there were a couple of other companies that had predated us. So, for example, Box.net in 2005 was started, and Dropbox started in 2007, but we still thought there was an opportunity there. So we'd just done a pretty well-funded startup. At the day we said go, 50% of the company was owned by the financiers. And so we were looking to do something a little different for this one. We wanted to take a little bit of angel money. We wanted to develop the first product, get 10 paying customers to prove the model, and then raise a nice A round. Anyone know what this means? Bootstrap, there you go. So that's what we were attempting to do. And so we really did accomplish a lot in the first 8 months of 2008. We did close on an angel round. Some people we know and the founders kicked in. And we hired Matt, who was our designer. And then we hired some more engineers. Andrew, he doesn't normally look like this, but you never know. Big weekend for him. And Lee, who was also one of our initial engineers. He's also a DJ. You can hear him on the D&B scene here in Seattle. So we released one version of our product, and that's what it looks like. We started getting customers, and we'd moved out of the shed to Issaquah. So we hit all of our targets. We were getting customers, and we were pretty confident that we were going to get a round done. Remember, 2008. Comparables like Dropbox, they were a Y Combinator darling, and Box.net, they'd raised $7.5 million in aggregate funding by about this time. In September of 2008, the money people loved our traction, loved our story, and they loved the space. It was awesome. But I don't know if you remember what happened on September 15th. Things got a little wobbly. Lehman Brothers was no more. September marched on. We continued to line up our VC support. And we were in the car on the way back from our lawyers in late October. And we got this email on our phone. That's when the winter kind of really began. Remember the good times, RIP? We read that on the phone and we were like, uh-oh. So what did that mean to us? Was anyone else trying to raise a round then? Anyone? Okay, you probably remember what that was like. Overnight, things were different. This was the demarcation point. Companies that had raised money up to that point were a lot different than those that were still trying or hadn't. We were uncertain of being able to raise any more money overnight, and we were forced to manage our burn right to our revenue. So we had to keep our powder dry. That was the euphemism. But the problem is we also needed more powder. We worked with the folks at Ignition Partners before, the VC firm in Bellevue, and we were able to raise a small A round, just under $2 million, and it was certainly the time when the strength of our relationships and with the people absolutely made the difference. Some other companies of that era that were unable to raise any additional capital, most of them don't exist anymore. So for us, the funding climate remained challenging for the next couple of years. There were competitors, I named a couple of them, that were able to close rounds before October 2008, Box and Dropbox. They've done pretty well. They were able to continue to expand and invest in their businesses, and we've seen that their trajectories seem to require additional capital infusions like every 9 to 12 months. So far, that's been working out. But, we've done actually pretty well too, the up and to the right thing. By managing our burn to our revenues, we've actually built a profitable business. We're profitable, we've been for a while. We've improved our products and we've released new ones. We've moved to Pioneer Square and we've grown to over a dozen folks. So we are able to continue to compete against the now really big guys in the file sharing. Boop, 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 boop. In a number of ways.
That is the best boop boop dance anyone has ever done on that stage. Thank you for that.
We have a great product. We have the highest fidelity file previews, and our page layouts are clean and modern, and our permissions that we have for the way you manage files really reflect the way business folks want to interact with their information, and we provide some extra functionality that they use like watermarks and data rooms and things like that. What's really important, though, is we've cultivated a paying customer culture. Let me say that again because it's kind of important. Our customers pay us money to use our services. They get to use it free for 2 weeks. But after that, if you want to continue to use our product, you need to pay us. Businesses, in general, kind of understand that. It's a value trade, services for services. That's what makes the economy go around. We answer our phone with real humans. Seems like an old school thing to do, but the customers that we work with, when they want help, they'd like the assurance of talking to a human. And we know we win deals versus our competition in that fashion. And we always address changing conditions and we adapt to it. Enough customers have asked us over a period of time to integrate services like Google Drive or Dropbox, and we kind of listen to them. So, I'd like to leave you with some points, summarizing, that I think are important if you're doing any kind of startup and as you travel on this startup journey. I have some friends in the MIT Blackjack team, and they always say, when you have the advantage, get the money out. When the count is up, when the cards are in your favor, if you have the opportunity to raise capital at an effectively negative interest rate, you better seriously consider doing that. Take advantage of that. You shouldn't miss funding windows, like the one is right now, and because none of us know when the next RIP event's going to occur. And you should understand how you can align your interests with those other people that can help you, and whether it's to your company's benefit to do so over a variety of time frames. You might find yourself actually profiting from working with a competitor. So, the other thing you should really do is enjoy working with your co-founders and your team. You will likely spend more awake time with them than you will your kids, your spouse, any person that's not at your workplace. So, if you're successful, you'll also be putting together a presentation one day and realize that you can't use the word startup any longer. Thanks.
One quick question. Just because you ran over, we're tight for time. We're trying to get everybody out by 8:15.
Any questions? Yes, sir.
How do you do outreach?
Say that again, please.
How or do you do outreach? How do you get customers?
Thank you. The question is, how do we get customers? Primarily through search engine marketing today and referrals. We have customers that refer other customers. If you'd like to talk more about that, I can talk to you afterwards. Thanks.